Hey everyone, it's time for our game preview this week, brought to you by Crown Royal. My name is Matt McMullen, and I'm joined this week by Peter Schrager of Good Morning Football. Peter, what's up, man?
How we doing, Matt? Look, I'm wearing Chiefs stuff, short sleeve Michelin Ness throwback sweatshirt. And before everyone calls me a Chiefs homer, my entire wife's family is from Baltimore, and they're diehard Ravens fans. So I'm just balancing things out here, going with the Chiefs look, and I think your fans might appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the Chiefs sweatshirt for sure. This is a Chiefs show after all. So looking at this game, the first thing that really stands out is obviously the quarterback matchup. It's the battle of the MVPs, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You just don't see quarterback matchups like this very often in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most anticipated game on the entire NFL schedule for me. I circled this on May 9th when the schedule came out. I said that Monday night game is the best game all year. And the first 2 weeks from both teams have really lived up to it. I'll say this about the Chiefs. I almost kind of like the fact that they were given a real test on Sunday and they were taken to the brink by Herbert and the Chargers. They had to find a way. They do find a way. There's nothing that's going to surprise them on Monday night. They know what they're going up against. And these two players, I mean, we're blessed as NFL fans and as NFL community to have both of them at the same time playing on the same field. I can't wait to watch it.
I agree with that too, because what Patrick Mahomes is 6-0 in his last 6 games when down by double digits. It's really a big deal in the Super Bowl and the playoffs, but I mean, those things are bred early in the season. So to have that in week 2, I think is really beneficial for this team. Now, speaking of Jackson, he's part of that dynamic, incredible rushing attack they have in Baltimore. He has 1,200 rushing yards all by himself last year. Now he also has a 3-headed monster in the backfield. J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State, the rookie they got in the draft this year. Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards as well. They run the ball so effectively. It's like 1930 when they go out there and run the ball, but it works for them. It's effective. Why is this running game so special, and how can the Chiefs try to slow it down?
Well, how did the Chiefs lose to the Colts and the Texans last year? What was their Achilles heel in the regular season? It was those teams that on 3rd and 3 converted for 4 yards, on 3rd and 5 converted for 6 yards, and kept the ball out of Mahomes' hands. I mean, that's how you beat the Chiefs. You hit him hard on defense, which we saw from Bosa and Ingram on Sunday, and then you keep the ball out of his hands by running the ball, and that's what the Ravens do. I look at this, though, and you think of them, you're like, all right, they're the greatest rushing team of all time last year. They had all these rushing yards. And then you watch the game back, Texans-Ravens from week 2. They only ran the ball like 8 times in the first half, and then the second half, they sledgehammer you. So they can throw the ball, and they can kill you with Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown. They're really, really good and really, really unpredictable. That's why the running works so much. And then on 4th and 1, the Ravens, they trot out their team, and it's Mark Ingram at quarterback out of a shotgun, and they go wildcat, and he runs it in for the touchdown about 40 yards, and Lamar Jackson's out wide. So Chiefs fans are blessed in seeing Andy Reid's game plan week in, week out, and Bieniemy calls it perfectly. The Ravens are pretty good too.
We'll see what happens. They had like 230 rushing yards is what it ended up being against the Texans last week. Pretty impressive. I will say Lamar Jackson's lost only 3 regular season starts in his career, 2 of them to the Chiefs, so I like those odds at least. Now, and you're right, Lamar Jackson, 36 touchdown passes last year, led the NFL. He's really grown as a passer. Now, looking at this defense for the Ravens, they really have playmakers at every level. Go from like Calais Campbell to Patrick Queen to Marcus Peters in the secondary, just playmakers. When you're looking at this Ravens defense, what stands out to you, and how do they match up with what the Chiefs like to do offensively?
All 3 levels are really good. They lost a player that they really like, and he's been hurt a bunch. Tavon Young last week. He's going to be injured and be out, but the Earl Thomas thing makes national news that they released Earl Thomas, and everyone goes wild. Oh my God, Earl Thomas! How could you? They really like what they had, Deshaun Elliott. The Ravens team is one of those defenses that is like so young, so loaded, and then they added Queen and Campbell over the offseason, so they got better. Mahomes is going to do what Mahomes does, but this is going to be a test. They're a really good, really disciplined defense, and like you said, Wink Martindale has seen the Mahomes offense now twice in the last 2 years. At least they know that they've had some success the first time they played him. I mean, that was to the wire. And then last year, I know that their Chiefs took care of business in the end, but it was a close game to start it off. I think that the Ravens defense is going to be up to the test as much as any other defense will be, because they actually do have a pass rush and they're really good on the back end.
Yeah, best defense in the NFL so far. 2 touchdowns allowed, I think. They've been really, really good. But in the end, this could be an AFC Championship game preview, so excited to see what the Chiefs can do early on here against the Ravens. My final question for you, it's not just a quarterback showdown, it's also a kicker showdown on Monday night. It's Harrison Butker versus Justin Tucker, probably the 2 best kickers in the league right now. Butker, of course, makes the 2 58-yarders last week, ties the Chiefs franchise record, and hits the game winner 3 times. Would you be surprised at all if one of these guys hits a 60-yarder in this game?
No, that'd be the best way, right? I mean, Butker was so good last week. Chiefs fans, I'm going to break the fourth wall here. I'm no longer football. Do you realize how good you have it when you can trot out a kicker and he goes 53, 58, and then 58 again and does it 3 times? Like, that's unheard of. It's so good. And yet Tucker's the guy who could hit a 62-yarder rolling out of bed. So you got 2 good kickers in this one. I would not be shocked if it's 30-30 in the fourth quarter and one of those 2 kickers comes trotting out for a 60-yarder to win it. It would be only fitting. We got great quarterbacks, great coaches, great kickers. And it's on Monday Night Football. Like, it's an early gift from the NFL scheduling gods. I almost fear that it was too early because you kind of like these games in November and December too.
Peter, really appreciate your time, man. Great stuff. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Go Chiefs and Ravens, whoever you want to root for.